Good morning, everyone. Welcome once again to Reflections of Riverman here on Humanity Healing. I don't know if that came on or clipped or not, but I'm here and I can never figure that out. It's a simple thing, but it sort of hesitates, and I never know whether I'm on or I'm not on. Like a lot of us during this time of amazingness. I will give it the word amazingness. So, welcome all. And I want to feel the smiles on your faces as we talk about um, moving forward. The past couple of talks I've had are about stepping into the new. What is the new, and how do we begin again, and things of that nature in a positive way, rather than looking at what is falling apart and what is dissipating into the background as we move through all of this calamity, chaos, remembering uh, sorrowful parts of our lives or painful parts of our lives, the trauma. And this is what we are doing is in moving forward, we have to let go of that which is in the past. We know this. This is not a new process. It's just being done at a greater depth and higher level of who we are and what we're going through, what we're being faced with, what our leadership is doing in the world, and many other things that we don't have any control over. So, how do we do this individually, knowing that we're not just individuals, we are part of a collective whole of humanity that is going through this, that each one of us have our own situations and our own past experiences that are holding us in a certain place and frequency that may be unique from your beloved one or your children or your grandparents. Yet each of us are connected. We are connected through the collective whole of humanity. It's not because we chose to do this. This is the natural nature of humanity. That when somebody thinks of something in Europe, somebody's also thinking of the same thing in the United States, Australia, around the world. And this has been proven that when scientists and people work, and especially in groups that are connected around the world, that idea will come to that many people. They've done it in think tanks where they've proven that when they work on a project, two or three people will get the same sort of vision or message, maybe a little bit differently. But this is how connected we are, okay? And when we look at that in the world today and how we got to this place of mistrust and distrust and people lying and just exaggerating everything with them as a center point of all, you know, existence. We realize that along the way we have steered off the path of collective community. Those are the words that are just coming through me now. They're not in my notes. Collective community, the wholeness of who we are. We are whole. We are one. We are each other. We can honestly feel parts of other people and recognize that part in us. What's happening now is we're seeing the negative parts in other people, and that's triggering the negative parts in us. And it's really very simple. It's not something we've not experienced our entire lives. from the time we were born and children, we've experienced this. The intensity is based at so many thousands and millions and billions of people are doing this simultaneously. So the energy feels more overwhelming. Take a deep breath. Let me take a deep breath. This is where we're at, moving forward. What does moving forward mean to you? You know, it's their words. We speak with words. Yet when you look up the definition of the words, you realize that there's definitely a you know, something that is there for us to deal with, but there's also an opportunity to look at it differently. And when I look up words, I always love to look up the synonyms and antonyms and get a bigger global picture of what is that word really, what is the energy field of those words. And many times I'll use them differently. I'll use the different words to express the idea that I had in the beginning. We don't automatically have all those in our memory. So we need to look at things up. We need to have trustworthy sources. Here is part of our problem in moving forward. The people we have been told to trust have failed in their integrity. They are no longer thinking of the whole, but they are thinking of the self, their family, their status, their position. And to them, that's more important than what is happening to everybody. And they have distanced themselves socially from everyone else. So, how does a person who has billions of dollars understand a person who can't pay their rent and has no heat and is starving? They can't. To them, it's a story, it's a book, it doesn't live in their world. And for better or worse, they say, well, that's their problem. We want to help them, but we're going to help ourselves first. This has been thousands of years of this. This is not new. This is not just happening in 2022. This has been happening over and over and over again in the history of humanity. Read about it in any old book, pick up the Bible and read the Old Testament. I mean, this is, you know, we're worshiping a God who says to kill people. I'm sorry, I don't understand that. How do you do that and then, you know, say, oh, but you must worship this being? You know, this is, I'm not talking on religion specifically, but these are the stories that we've been told that have major contradictions in them as to wanting to bring people together for a better social and harmonic existence, yet it's filled with pain and suffering and slaughtering and killing and raping. And how do we, at this point in our evolution, trust these things that are saying this is okay or this is okay in this case, but not in this case? I don't want to belabor all of this, but I really want to bring to awareness that in changing, you know, in moving forward, we really have to access those thoughts within ourselves that are creating the disturbance or the distortion inside us. We're not here to fix the world per se by ourselves. But if each of us start to repair the damage within ourselves, then we'll have a greater chance of resolving it in the larger collective humanity. And that's all it takes. It's just like the COVID. It only took a few people to start and it spread around the world. This is the same thing with love. This is the same thing with light. This is the same thing with compassion. It only takes a few to spark the fire and then it spreads. This is the fire of change. This is the fire of transmutation. I mean, when you light a fire, you burn something and you change its shape and form. But it is usually has a beneficial effect. It's a destructive process. Um, this is what we don't like about it. This is so destructive. But sometimes we have to destroy what is keeping us from being who we truly are as these amazing beings on planet Earth, which we haven't met anywhere else yet in physical form and shape as we are. And if we have, it's been hidden from us for thousands and thousands of years. So we don't know the truth anymore. Did we really come from the stars? Are we really the star beings that everybody is talking about? You can believe whatever you want because that's your choice to believe. But you have to align with that belief. And if you are not aligning with that belief, then you are cross-connecting all your energies. So I woke to a blank space this morning and I said, okay, this is interesting. I was guided, well, let's look into the future. That was interesting. And no message came. And I said, silence. What do we do with silence moving forward? Because when we move forward, we look towards something, we're looking for guidance. We're looking for, and it's not that it isn't there, it's just that sometimes there's a great silence. How do we deal with that silence? You know, sometimes the silence bothers me more than the noise. I don't know about you, but sometimes the silence bothers me. And what I envisioned really was as we live through this world of confusion and this current of confusion, um, it's really about our past collective trauma. And that every time I go to talk about it, I'm talking about trauma, 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 trauma. And you'll notice it in other articles and other people. We're always talking about trauma. How do you get rid of the trauma? So the key is we're aware that trauma plays a big part in moving forward. And that if we continue to stay in a traumatic situation or a traumatic relationship or at a place where we work that's causing trauma within us, even if it's only slight trauma, the reality is there's a whole background of trauma that goes all the way back to birth. So the key for this in moving forward is to notice where the trauma is, take the trauma that is the worst trauma, and know that you may not get to it right now, but your goal is to work towards that worst trauma of your life by setting up a practice of getting rid of lesser trauma. That sets up a pattern in your brain that I can do this. And it's really, it's simple because you're working with simple traumas and you're looking at them and you're saying, oh, and you take that deep breath and you say, I don't feel that anymore. I don't even know where it went. I just addressed it. I looked at it and said, I no longer need this. That this happened then, there was this person, that thing, and I'm still back there. I'm reliving it every moment. And that's what we're doing now, is we're reliving all of these traumas that have happened into our lives, in our lives. And I know that each of you have your own personal story. And I'm not here to say that your personal story is going to be easy to overcome. But I will say that your personal story is able you are able to overcome it. The ability is within you. It's within what I would call your divine design. So that's the message today. And one of the things that was funny was I was trying to think of how I was going to write my notes, and I remembered in the 50s. I grew up in the 50s as a child, and we had these things called a ViewMaster, and it was a little thing with a disc of photographs. It's called a photo viewer, and they'd have little pictures, and it would be a little story to it, you know. And the one that I loved was the one that took me into outer space. I mean, it was always amazing. And you'd click and you'd take off. And this is in the 50s. So I mean, this is basic spaceology. Now it's happening every day, thousands of times a day. It's like a taxi cab back and forth to outer space. But then it was just so profound. And there was several pictures where you went through the asteroid belt. And I still remember that because it was all these giant rocks. That's how they showed the asteroids, as these, and they'd be sort of coming at you, and I don't know if it was more my imagination than the pictures, but you'd believe that, and you had to move around them in order to get past that to see the beautiful planets in our solar system. And that's what came to me this morning, that childhood memory. And I realized all those asteroids are all the traumas. They're all traumas for us in our own brains. They're things that are negative or hard or painful. And we're trying to see the beauty of the universe. We're trying to see the beauty of humanity. And we keep hitting those asteroids. So my message to me was, Charlie, just going through another asteroid belt as you did when you were 7 and 8 years old or whatever age you were. It's no different. It's just a different shape, a different form. It's an obstacle field. And you overcame that to get to outer space in the little viewfinder. You too will be able to get through this in this viewfinder here, this body that takes pictures of everything it sees. Simple childhood memories are part of our moving forward. Both the good memories and the bad. And we have to, again, put them in the scales and say, this one's going to stay, I'm going to take with me into the future. This one, I'm sorry, you have to stay here. Because if I bring you forward, all I'm going to do is keep bringing that pain, that suffering, whatever it was, with me. And I'm not doing this to offend you or that you're bad or anything else. You no longer serve a purpose for me. I know it's hard for many of us to think that pain and suffering serves a purpose. And I don't even like to say those words, but I know in my own life, had I not suffered as much as I have suffered, I would not be able to sit here and talk to you today. I would not be able to understand my own pain or anyone else's. I could not be compassionate. I could not be wanting to assist others. So the negative has a place. It's in the balance, the yin and yang. You'll hear me talk about that. It's all in the balance. And what we're really trying to do is moving on all of that negative and balance it with more positive. And then hopefully get it into a balanced situation and then become comfortable in that balance. When you're in balance, you are comfortable. And then you seek more positive. And the positive is the spark of life. It's the part of us that encourages us to do more good, to do more, give more love, to understand each other more. So that's what we're looking for, that shift in consciousness, that shift in our hearts, where we can not be fearful of loving someone or liking someone, but also be consciously aware that that person may not be able to understand what we're doing and may want to and may try to take advantage of us. And it's not that they're bad, they don't know any better. The dog who bites you when he gives you the food doesn't know that that's not acceptable. We have to, we are really have to train humanity again to become human. We become these cold machines that we sit in front of. They're wonderful because they bring us together, but there's no emotion there. If I tap the screen, all I get is knock, knock, knock. There's not a person, there's not a body, there's not an arm, there's not a hand I can shake. And in the past 2 years of COVID, that's what we've learned. That separation is dangerous. That togetherness and being able to hug each other and touch each other and be close proximity to each other's energy field. That's what's important. It's not only important for humans, it's important for all of life. The trees, the birds, they sing when you come. When you bring them, they sing. This is a community of all different forms of life. And each of you, I know, are aware of that. Each of you are loving and kind and beneficent human beings. Because that's who you are. And that's who you are remembering. You're remembering the beauty, the compassionate heart that you have. And many of you have been hurt many times, but it's okay because you are still that loving being. And right now, it's time for us to move forward in that light and love. Cautiously, carefully, yet fully as we possibly can. And the fullness really comes from letting go of past traumas and pain and suffering, honoring them, honoring the people that we've lost, honoring the relationships that failed, knowing that those people had their own issues as well. We can only be responsible for our own actions, and that's what we need to do. And when we look at the world around us, that's the perfect example of what's not being done. People are not accepting the responsibility for their words or actions. I'm just going to let that settle here. Because something is coming to each of you in this moment of people, whether they're in your life or they're on the news, who are not living to their word, to who they truly are. And we have to feel some compassion for them. I don't like the word have, but it's a goal that we need to seek. Can we have compassion for those people? We don't have to like them. We don't have to encourage them in what they're doing. We have to hold them accountable without hatred, without anger. Because the hatred and anger that we feel affects us first. And you all know that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. So in my notes here, we have to move beyond it to see the true wonder of what's in our future. What is your future? What do you want your future to be? Who are you? How are you going to fit into that future? We shift our conscious awareness. That's how we do it. We shift our conscious awareness beyond all the visible obstructions, beyond all the visible possibilities, and we just say, yes, I want to be who I truly am. I don't know who that truly is right now, but I want to know. I want to be the best I can be for myself and others. Not others first, for yourself. And this goes back to childhood, when we were told, when you thought about yourself, you were told you were being selfish. And being selfish was taught to you as being bad. No. It's honoring yourself. But as little children, we didn't have that ability to comprehend what we were doing. We were just, oh my goodness, everything is like new to us. Whoa, I want it, I want it, I want it. And what was the words we got? What were the reactions we got? So when we talk of trauma, it can be that minimal. Not the ones where you were punished severely, physically, mentally, emotionally, but just those little busts of your bubbles. Your little wonder moments, and then somebody just takes the wonder away. This is where we start. We forgive them. It's the saying, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Doesn't mean you condone what they do. You stand up and say, no, that's wrong. But they don't know any better. And we all say, oh, they certainly do know any better. And they may do that, but it's been overridden by power, by greed, by jealousy. Moving forward, let's get rid of jealousy, fear, pain, suffering. Let's not bring it with us. We're in a collective movement. It's not just you, it's not just me. We're doing this as a collective, the whole of humanity. And when 10 of us do it here, that energy goes out and touches 20. It doubles. It does more than that, but I'm just going to say it doubles. Because we'll walk away and each one of us will shift in some way, doesn't matter how, and we'll touch another person. So if there's 10 or 20 people here, it gets multiplied. And this is what we do. Wake up every day and look at life and say, what can I do that's going to bring happiness? What can I do for myself? What makes me happy? Because when we're happy, wherever we go, that happiness goes with us. It's in our energy field. And yes, we'll trigger those who aren't happy because they're miserable and they will attack us. But we need to protect ourselves and know who those people are and say, if I'm really happy today, the person I'm not going to talk to is my best friend over here. It's about taking care of ourselves, moving forward. It isn't denying anybody anything, but putting ourselves as the center point. And other people say this is selfish. They'll give you all kinds of names for this. But what you're really doing is honoring your true self, this divine being that you are, and sharing that divinity with the world. You can look at all the saints, you can look at Jesus, you can look at all of the holy people that have been honored as being holy. That's what they did. They opened their hearts to the world and all of its pain and all of its suffering, and realized that if I can put one spark of light and love and happiness and goodness into the world is better for my being here. Each of you. As I scroll down. Victoria, Radhika, Anita, so good to see you back, dear. You look wonderful. Hope you're doing very well. I'll read these. Edgy, don't know how to pronounce your name, dear heart, but there you are. Jan, Valerie, Victoria, Penny, yeah, all of you. Nicole and Brima, beautiful souls, beautiful brothers and sisters, wherever you are in the world. The message is we are in a collective movement, not an individual one. Yet it's the individual that creates the impetus for change. We have already completed this in our future. Many of us don't understand what that means or can understand what that is. But we all have a future and a past that we can't, it's not real. You can't touch it. You can't go back there. You can't jump in there physically, but it exists. And that's what we're doing, is we're placing our love in the present. Erasing it in the past, the pain and suffering in the past, and opening the future for us to move into without pain and suffering. My notes, at the end of my notes, it says, let us begin to reverse our thinking. We are in the future, safe and sound, washing away all of our negative past in the river of light and love. Keep trusting that inner self that guides you through positive synchronicities, and enjoy those moments as green lights in dense traffic. Take a deep breath, slowly, feeling that air fill your lungs. And as you exhale, releasing. That simple process of breathing, that gentle flow of air, is our connection to everything. Simply breathing in positive energy, allowing it to flow through your body, and all that is negative is waiting there for that journey to end and be released. Learn to release. It's the key. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. We are unity. One heart. One love. May each of you think about what came up for me this morning, and I shared with you. Know that I put my show notes along with the video at, it takes me sometimes a couple of days, on my YouTube channel. It's also always here on Humanity Healing. And just tap into that part of yourself that that loves you, because it's there. For some, it may be buried very deep. But I ask you to seek and find it. Seek and find it, and hold it in your arms, and give it love. Bless you all. Thank you all. And we'll see you next Friday. And who knows what Riverman is going to talk about. But it seems to be a theme moving forward. What are we going to do? The sort of the balance line has been crossed. So let's think about positive things and how we're going to address those. Love you all. You can find me on Facebook, and you can find me on my blog, and you can just, I tell people, just Google me if you are curious as to who I am. Google knows more about me than I do at this point, and I don't care. I love you. Have a great day, great week. Blessings to each of you.